Xbox, mute. I love that I can do that. Hey! It's nighttime and I smell like a used Halloween costume and this video is a week late. So, let's go backward. First, this video is a week late because I decided to use one of my leeway weeks with school starting and helping my parents move. I was just too busy last week. Second, and first, combined. I filmed this video earlier today and I went to the gym and I came home and the first half of the video is gone. Yay! I'm gonna do the quickie review and say a little bit more and I'm gonna tag on what was saved at the end. So without further ado, this is the third edition of the 50 and 52 challenge. If you remember correctly, this week we read 1984 by George Orwell. I'm gonna speed through this since it is so late. Quick review, George Orwell had amazing foresight. Day by day you can feel reality blurring and blurring lines up to becoming this book. That said, it is a sci-fi book, so this is still a ways off. So if that interests you, giving up your security for freedom and why, go ahead and pick up this book. It still feels like a school read, but it's not a school read that'll bore you. Reader review. We all knew Winston wasn't the dude that was going to change the world. From the start of this book, it is painfully obvious how his tinkering is going to turn out. He has an idea, and he thinks the idea cannot change the world, but at least change his world. But ultimately, that's not on the cards, and that is his downfall. The whole time I thought Julia might have been part of the thought police. And as their love grew more and more, and I can't say stronger, because their love didn't grow stronger, I thought, oh, maybe this could last. Maybe they could have a happy ending. That was not the case, and introduced my favorite character in this book, O'Brien. I don't love O'Brien because of his twistedness or his nature. I love him because he's real. He has understanding of what power is in this new world, and he's willing to give up anything that isn't power to obtain that power. In the world, we hear referenced many times the thought police, and we're not sure if the thought police can actually hear your thoughts or if that's just the name. I like that we didn't know the true extent of the thought police until Winston was getting tortured by O'Brien. And that's where the whole book really came together for me. The ideas of double thinking, controlling the perception of the world, didn't really quite hit the right notes until O'Brien laid it all on the table for us. To be is to be perceived. A little background, this is a notion first set forward by George Berkeley, and it's the entire groundwork for subjective idealism. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, did it really fall? As O'Brien stated, the past isn't a physical thing that I can look at and say, oh yes, that's blue. If I get everyone to believe that one thing happened in the past instead of what actually happened, does the perception become fact, or do facts even really matter at that point? And those who control perception control the rest of the world. By the way, side note, Winston totally died at the end, right? The last line is him finally accepting and loving Big Brother, and that was the last step. Once you love Big Brother, then they shoot you. Blammo by Winston. With all that said, George Orwell's 1984, 3.5 stars. But don't let me do all the talking, I want to know what you guys thought. Like, favorite, subscribe. If you want to follow me on Twitter, @Hawkillies. And this week we're reading Looking for Alaska by John Green. I've heard a lot of good things about this book and I've been looking to check it out, and maybe a few other John Greens are in the calendar if this one goes well. And that's all for today, guys. Sorry this video came late. They'll be on regular schedule after this. Don't forget to check out readingfordays.tumblr.com, Spencer's Twitter @Snowball, and I'll see you guys next week. Read on.